This video I'm going to explain how to use the shared inbox in Gmail using Drag. So a lot of teams use shared email addresses for emails such as support at or sales at or info at and etc. And this can be plugged into our Drag boards. They're shared and they are real time. So when an email comes into these email addresses, instead of having a lot of people logging in with the same password or a lot of people receiving the same email, they can simply go to these shared boards in real time and your whole team have access to these emails at the same time and can collaborate on them. So let me show you the steps how to add a shared inbox here. The first step is to click either on this plus button or this big red button here, which is the button to create a new board. We have 3 types of boards. We also have empty or Google Groups boards, but in this video, I'm gonna focus on the shared inbox boards. So as it says here, it's built for shared email addresses such as support at and sales at. So the next step to do is to input the board name that you want to see on your left column here and the respective email address. So let's say I want to call this board support at and then put the email address support@dragat.com. You click on create. I'm not going to do it now, but the next step after here will be an authentication page, very similar to the one you probably had when you installed Drag. So first is the auth page from Google for you to log into the account, and then after that the Drag permissions that you need to accept as well, that are the permissions for our tool to connect to this account and be able to pull emails and display them in the board. After this is done, click on create, give the authentication, give the permissions, and then you're gonna be automatically redirected to this board. And this is how it's gonna look. So all of the historical emails in that inbox will come to your first column that's gonna be called to do. The columns are gonna start to do doing and done, and that's it. So from here, if you don't do anything, every email now sent to support@dragat.com is gonna load on top of my first column as unread in bold. And the next steps from here are to first customize your board. So of course, to do doing and done is just a default names, but you can just by clicking on the name of the columns, I can change to the names according to your workflow. So let's say I want to call my tickets in progress and tickets closed. And of course, you can also change the order of the columns. You can add more columns if you want by clicking on this button here, and etc. So the next big step here is to share this board. So at the moment, when you added this shared inbox, only you have access to this account. But if you click here on the top right, you have the list of people that, of course, this board was set up before. So I have 2 people, but it's going to start just with you. And then to invite new people to this board, you simply input their email addresses. So let's invite myself and click on add. And these people will immediately receive email notifications inviting them to join this board. So from now on, everyone that you add here in this list will have access to this board. They will see exactly the same name, support at, on their left side column from their own accounts, and from here you can all collaborate and do the same thing. So when I drag an email, when I change the color of a card, and when I do anything else in this board, add due date and everything, add my notes, everyone in that board will have exactly the same view. Just the last this quick thing, to rename the board, you can just go to this drop down here. You have a few options. I can leave this board, or I can share it, or I can rename. So I don't know, instead of support at, I want to call it support board. That's it, that's done, and it's updated for everyone.